Coming up on News 19 this morning, the Richland County Coroner's Office asking for your help identifying a man who died just a few days ago. We'll have the details on the case coming up. Plus, the Richland County Planning Commission talking about multiple rezoning requests connected to a potential housing development. But here's the thing, there's a good bit of Blackwood residents who are not on board. We'll tell you their concerns.
Looking ahead at its cold start, we're at 37 in downtown Columbia, but some areas in the Midlands are in the low 30s right now. I'll have that full forecast next.
And all reports show the Gamecocks have finally found their answer on who will be the new offensive coordinator. We're going to bring you those details coming up. Today is Tuesday, December 9th, 2025, and News 19 This Morning continues right now.
We're on your side. You're watching News 19 This Morning on WLTX+.
Hey y'all, shout out to everybody who's been watching earlier, and thank you all who are tuning in right now on WLTX+. I'm Whitney Sullivan with meteorologist Brianna Mowry, and we were just talking about the fact that we cannot wait for the sunshine.
It's been a while. I can't remember what day it was we had sun last.
I know.
It's been dreary, it's been cloudy, rainy. But we're dry today.
But we are dry today. See, it's the little things. You got to find the little things that get you excited, get you going. And for me, it's no rain. I'm also okay, so I'm the person that tries to jump over puddles and stuff like that because as many of you may or may not know, I am what I call fun size. I'm very short. And so if you have longer legs, I feel like it's easier to get over all the puddles and stuff like that.
I definitely understand you on that because I'm only 5'1".
Yeah, okay, same. So sometimes I know people are like, what is Whitney doing? It looks like what for a normal person would be just a little step over a puddle. I'm like, because that's what it feels like.
Right.
I'm just so short. So I'm excited that I won't have to jump over any puddles for the next couple of days.
Right, and y'all don't know it, but I am standing on a box right now.
Right.
So I look a lot taller than I actually am, but.
The magic of TV.
37 degrees for that current temperature. A little bit of cloud cover out there this morning, but the sun is coming out today, and we're going to continue to see temperatures staying a little cooler this afternoon, but we will be warmer as we head into tomorrow. 60 degrees for your Wednesday's high temperature, but out there today we are going to stay stuck in the 30s through the morning. Through the afternoon, we will get up to 40, with eventually reaching that high today in the mid to upper 40s. Here's those high temperatures across the rest of the Midlands. 46 for your high in Orangeburg, 46 in Columbia. Partly cloudy today, but again, sunshine is on the way. Wind staying light out there tonight, though. Temperatures are going to get chilly as we start the day tomorrow. Low temperatures in the upper 20s and low 30s. Thankfully, the wind is staying light because that's already cold enough. We don't need a wind chill on top of that. Now, looking ahead at traffic out there this morning, things are flowing very nicely across downtown Columbia. Not seeing any major slowdowns, not seeing any accidents at this time, and those traffic maps are looking a little clear. The sun has come up now, but there's still not a whole lot of people out at this point. I-26 east at mile marker 112. There's a few people out there, but traffic is still flowing. Looking very quiet on I-20 east at mile marker 88. Only a couple cars out there, but I can see some coming in the distance. Whitney.
All right, thank you so much. We're going to begin your headlines this hour in Fairfield County. We are one step closer, or they are one step closer to reviving the failed VC Summer nuclear project. Santee Cooper's board of directors took a major step towards a contract with a global utility company, which plans to finish the project. Josie Frost joining us now with a recap of the project's controversial history and what a revival could mean. Josie, this is something that we have been following closely for years.
Right, and this impacts a lot of people. Now, the VC Summer is a nuclear site in Fairfield County, and there's been one functioning nuclear reactor there for years. But in 2017, a project to build 2 new reactors on that site was abandoned. Now, because of a law called the Base Load Review Act, utilities were allowed to raise the rates to pay for that project ahead of time. So when the project was abandoned, the 2 companies that owned the reactors, SCE&G and Santee Cooper, had overrun costs. Now, SCE&G later became Dominion Energy, and Dominion's customers to this day are still paying for that project in their rates, even though it never generated a watt of energy. And it sat dormant since 2017 until last summer, when lawmakers began to discuss the idea of trying to restart the project. Now, South Carolina is projected to be in a major energy crisis in the next 30 years. Supporters of restarting the project say we already have sunk cost into it, and it could be a quicker way to generate more power. But this time around, ratepayers won't be footing the bill, at least if the project goes well. Santee Cooper, which owns the site, put out a request for companies that want to finish the VC Summer themselves. They selected Brookfield Asset Management, a global utility. Now, just this week, they entered in a memorandum of understanding with Brookfield, which is basically an informal agreement without a binding contract. Under those terms, Brookfield will pay Santee Cooper $2.7 billion in cash, and Santee Cooper will own 25% of the reactors once the units are operational. They also are requiring a committee that will essentially oversee that project to make sure it isn't going off the rails again. And Brookfield will have to meet certain feasibility milestones, which is where that project fell short last time. Now, none of this is final as of yet, but Santee Cooper says a final investment decision is expected to take place within 2 years. And Brookfield will have to make some of those decisions soon. They'll have to determine the initial feasibility of the project and create a rough plan by June of 2026. Whitney.
All right, thank you so much, and we'll continue to follow this story closely. Well, turning now to some of your top headlines from across the state. A new lawsuit challenging South Carolina's election law that plaintiffs say infringes on federal voting rights. The NAACP and 3 voters with disabilities in nursing homes say existing state law impedes their ability to vote by mail. Section 208 of the Federal Voting Rights Act states that any voter who requires assistance to vote because of a disability or inability to read or write may receive help by a person of the voter's choice. In South Carolina, only an authorized representative can help, and that is limited to 5 people. Well, Charleston International Airport has wrapped up its internal investigation into last month's early morning confrontation with Congressman Nancy Mace. You may have seen this video go viral. Well, airport records now show officers were assigned to escort Mace, who were assigned to escort her at 7 o'clock in the morning on a flight on October 30th. But a miscommunication about the color of her vehicle led to staff missing her arrival. The final report says the Congresswoman exited her car without waiting for security and walked toward the TSA checkpoint, ignoring instructions. Officers say she was, quote, irate, loudly cursing and making derogatory comments about the department as they escorted her to the gate. The airport admits its own role in the mix-up, but says Mace's failure to follow procedures turned a simple communication into a spectacle. Meanwhile, Mace's team called the report a clear exoneration, saying she's moving on and focused on campaign issues. Well, from around the state to around the nation, we want to bring you a live look at the White House this morning, where President Trump will soon be departing for a campaign event in Pennsylvania to tout his work on the economy. This amid dwindling poll numbers on the issue. This is also coming as farmers around the country could soon get one-time payments as part of an aid package to offset the president's trade war. The farmers' assistance was announced Monday at a White House roundtable, during which President Trump also discussed strikes on alleged Venezuelan drug boats and talks to end Russia's war in Ukraine. CBS's Bradley Blackburn has the latest.
The economy takes center stage as President Trump heads to Pennsylvania 1 day after he announced a $12 billion aid package for farmers hit hard by his tariffs and trade war with China.
This relief will provide much needed certainty to farmers as they get this year's harvest to market and look ahead to next year's crops.
The White House says farmers can apply soon for payments that will go out in late February, funded by tariffs revenue.
A one-time payment for farmers is cold comfort for all the headache and anxiety and losses they've endured because of Donald Trump's trade war.
Also Monday, the president appeared to walk back last week's comments indicating he'd be open to publicly releasing the footage of a second strike on an alleged Venezuelan drug boat from early September that killed 2 survivors.
Whatever they have, we'd certainly release, no problem.
Now deferring to his defense secretary.
Whatever Pete Hegseth wants to do is okay with me.
According to two sources familiar with the matter, Hexeth, Joint Chiefs Chairman General Dan Kane and Secretary of State Marco Rubio are set to brief 8 top lawmakers on a range of issues later today. Meanwhile, President Trump continues his push for a Russia-Ukraine peace deal.
We want to see if we can stop the killing.
Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky discussed the U.S.-backed peace plan with European allies Monday, though provisions calling for Ukraine to cede land to Russia remain a key sticking point. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
And late Monday, President Trump on social media threatened to slap Mexico with a 5% tariff, claiming the country has violated a treaty that allows both nations to share water from the Colorado, Tijuana, and Rio Grande rivers. Well, also making national headlines, President Trump plans to sign an executive order that will block state AI regulations. It comes as some states have passed laws to address potentially risky and harmful uses of artificial intelligence, including right here in South Carolina. Now, recent reports have highlighted risk of the technology causing delusions or contributing to self-harm among users, or even exposing children to sexualized adult material. Critics worry the deregulation push could allow AI companies to evade accountability should their tools harm consumers. Well, coming up on News 19 this morning, we are taking a look at your full forecast and traffic to help you get ready as you go out and about on your Tuesday morning. Plus, we're going to be talking about a service that's coming to help the unsheltered here in the Midlands. Stay with us. Let's get to some of your top health headlines at 7:14. The Palmetto Family Service Center of South Carolina launching a medical mobile unit to serve unsheltered individuals. The mobile unit will be stationed at the Recovery Community Center at Hope Plaza from 3 to 5 today. The medical team will provide on-site services, including primary care and behavioral health. Well, hundreds of thousands of American seniors live in continuing care retirement communities, where residents put down a substantial sum of money, planning to live in one place for the rest of their lives. CBS's Money Watch correspondent Kelly O'Grady explores whether that peace of mind can actually come with some big risk.
This is a little bit more recent picture.
Yeah. 10 years ago, Barbara Cooper's parents made what they thought was their final move to the Harborside Retirement Community in Port Washington, New York.
Enjoy 5-star dishes and a multi-course menu in our formal dining room.
They had beautiful brunches every Sunday, intellectual activities that my mom loved. It was just a beautiful place.
Joyce and Norman Cooper had earned it, saving diligently. To get in, they paid $946,000.
It was a lot of money, but they'd have health care for the rest of their lives in the same building, in the same place, and be together.
It's kind of like doing everything right.
Yeah, they did.
The Harborside offered independent living, assisted living, nursing, and memory care, all on one campus. They're known as Continuing Care Retirement Communities, or CCRCs. Many use an unorthodox financial model. There's that large entrance fee and smaller fixed monthly fees, but when residents die, their heirs, like Barbara, get much of the entrance fee back.
We were supposed to get 80% back. That's not happening anymore.
That's because the Harborside went bankrupt in 2023. It was one of at least 15 CCRCs that have filed for bankruptcy in the last 6 years. Harborside's most vulnerable residents had to move out.
You thought, I imagine, you were done moving.
Yes, I can't keep moving all the time.
At 94, Arlene Cohen was one of them. Her daughter Bev found her a new facility, but it cost $10,000 more per month than the Harborside. Even worse, the family's entrance fee vanished.
How much did you lose?
$710,000.
Bev and other heirs hired a lawyer and hoped to eventually get about 30% back. We reached out to representatives for the Harborside, but did not receive a response. Joyce and Norman Cooper also lost their entrance fee and moved out. With different medical needs, Norman had dementia, Barbara had to separate them after over 70 years of marriage.
They were there to be together for the rest of their lives and had to split up, and that really did them in.
Soon after, her mother died.
My dad died 3 weeks after she died. We did not tell him that my mom died, but somehow he knew.
What would be your advice to seniors? What questions should they ask?
Find out what happens with the money. If it's not safeguarded, then it's too risky.
A risk some of the most vulnerable can't afford to take. For Eye on America, I'm Kelly O'Grady in Roslyn Heights, New York.
We're dealing with that cloud cover out there this morning, also cooler temperatures, but we're staying dry right now, and we're going to continue to see decreasing clouds through the day, leading to some more sunshine by the afternoon. Temperatures out there right now, 32 degrees in Winsboro, 37 in Columbia, 36 in Orangeburg, so definitely chilly out there this morning, a cold start. Winsboro, the coolest at 32. Looking at today's forecast, though, we are going to see temperatures slowly warming back up into the low 40s by the afternoon hours. We could get into the mid-50s this evening, and we're going to see that sunshine slowly trying to come out. Just a couple more hours to go, and we will finally see some sun for the first time in what feels like several days. 5-day temperatures, we don't have a cold night tonight leading into tomorrow morning with that low of 31 degrees. We'll be a little warmer Thursday morning at 39 for the low, but we are going to see temperatures dipping back into the low to mid 30s for the end of the week. And then the weekend, Sunday, 29, we get back in the lows, upper 20s for those lows. Our normal low is 37, so we're going to be a little bit below that this week, other than Thursday morning. Looking at the temperatures for the afternoon hours, today a cooler day with highs in the mid 60s, mid 40s. Wish it was 60s, but tomorrow we will be at 60. Looking ahead at the rest of the week, we will be at 55 for Thursday, a little warm up by Friday, back to 59, but a cool down on the way again for the weekend. We're back in the mid 50s for Saturday and the upper 40s for Sunday. So we are going to get another cold day this week, but it will be more sunny compared to what it is now. Looking up to Monday, we're back in the mid to upper 50s. So overall cooler than normal temperatures, but not as cold as it has been. It could get breezy through the day. Tomorrow, winds will change direction and move in from the southwest, and that's going to bring some warmer air into the area, and that's why we're going to have those high temperatures in the 60s tomorrow for your afternoon. So winds could get between 15 and 20 miles per hour, so a little breezy at times, but not going to see too much in the way of gusty winds. Tomorrow night, it's still going to be a little on the breezy side, but it is going to be a little bit calmer as we wrap up the day. Here's that forecast across South Carolina. Still some lingering clouds this morning. Those are on their way out. We will see some sunshine by the end of the morning and by the start of the afternoon. and hopefully we could see a good amount of clearing today, and that will help, at least maybe help those temperatures feel a little bit warmer. A passing cloud or two is possible as we head into the later hours tonight. We are going to stay dry today, thankfully, so we're not going to be dealing with any showers. But we are going to see a little bit of cloud cover maybe moving back in for Wednesday, but still mostly sunny skies for the middle of the week. Here's that 7-day forecast. 46 for your high today. Partly cloudy skies. Going to warm up for Wednesday. We do have a cold start to the day tomorrow. 31 is our low. And we're going to warm up nicely through the afternoon. Back to the normal high for this time of year. Mostly sunny skies. The dry weather will continue for the end of the week. Partly cloudy on Thursday. 55 for that high temperature. And 59 for Friday. So pretty comfortable once we get past today. We are going to get a little break from the cold afternoons, but we do have a cool down on the way for the weekend. Sunny skies return, completely sunny skies through the weekend. So not going to be expecting much in the way of cloud cover. Completely clear, but it's going to be a little chilly. 54 for that high on Saturday, so we are going to cool down again. 48 on Sunday. The good news is it's not raining. Rain and 48, not a good mix. The low on Sunday, 29 degrees. As we head into Monday, still going to be colder. That low temperature of 27 degrees, 10 degrees below normal. Afternoon temperatures are going to warm up pretty close to average. Mostly sunny skies as we start next week. Traffic out there this morning. Overall, flowing very smoothly across the Midlands. Still haven't seen any major slowdowns just yet, even around the Columbia area. Travel times this morning are still looking good. But we have seen some slowing down on 378 if you're heading from Lexington toward downtown. It is now moving at only 31 miles per hour on average, so it'll take you about 21 minutes to make that drive. Overall, though, we are seeing some slower traffic as well if you're heading from Winsboro to I-20, but it's still moving at 50 miles per hour, so pretty good, not too bad. And no weather concerns for that commute this morning, and not even seeing any accidents or incidents to make note of. Whitney.
Thank you so much, Bree. Let's talk about what's brewing this morning. Domino's Pizza turning 65 today, and to celebrate its birthday, the chain is giving out free chocolate lava crunch cakes with purchases of $10 or more. Customers have to enter the code Happy B Day, and literally it's Happy, the letter B, and then Day online in the order to take advantage of the deal. And y'all, the offer lasts through December 22nd, so you still have time to get in on this. And I have to tell y'all, I've never had a lava crunch before, but it looks delicious. I love sweets. All right, y'all, this is a story we have got to talk about. Remember yesterday we kind of talked about that raccoon that wound up inside a Virginia ABC store and got a little drunk? Okay, well, listen to this. Virginia ABC released cocktails inspired by the drunken raccoon that ransacked that Ashland ABC store earlier this month. Look at your screen. You have the Trash Panda Old Fashioned. It's a scrappy, no-nonsense twist on the classic old fashioned mixed with bourbon, brown sugar, and smoky bitterness. It says it's something resourceful like that little raccoon. Then you have the Midnight Masked Gin Fizz, a lively, mischievous cocktail that's equal parts citrus sparkle and berry mischief. This is to drink your favorite rascally raccoon would craft after a stealthy ABC break-in. Then you have the Rye Rascal Sour. They said it's proudly recommended after enjoying the good stuff from the top shelf. Y'all, I love the internet and people so much because they are able to turn something that's hilarious and continue it going. The Trash Panda Old Fashioned, they said proudly mixed after a late night visit to an ABC store. Oh my goodness, sometimes we can be so unserious, but we need it. All right, my friends, we have much more News 19 this morning on the other side of this quick break. Good Tuesday morning. I'm Whitney Sullivan. Your time right now is 7:26, and turning to one of your top stories this morning. Right now, the Richland County Coroner's Office asking for your help identifying a man who died just a few days ago. The victim is described as a Hispanic male, possibly in his 30s to 40s, with the 4 tattoos that you see right there on your screen. We're being told he died after being hit by a vehicle on Two Notch Road in Columbia on Saturday. If you have any information that may help identify him, you're asked to contact the coroner's office. That number right there on your screen, 803-576-1799.
It's a cold start to the day. Temperatures in the low 30s in Winsboro, 32, 37 in Columbia, so a little warmer in downtown, but 38 in Lexington, 36 in Aiken. It's just a cold start to the day, a little bit below normal. Today's high temperatures are going to warm up into the mid to upper 40s, so not a warm afternoon expected, but we could see a little bit more sunshine than we have the last couple of days. That could begin to come out by 10 o'clock, and especially as we head into those afternoon hours. So looking out there at that, we're clear out there right now, not seeing any showers, and we're not seeing a whole lot of heavy cloud cover, but we are getting some of those pretty scattered clouds. Here's that 7-day forecast. Temperatures warming up to 60 tomorrow. We stay dry for the next several days and even sunny through the weekend, but another cool down is on the way. By Sunday, we could be seeing highs stuck in the 40s.
Well, being a teenager is not easy. Today's teens are under a lot of pressure, and it might be worse than when we were teens. Reporter Kristen Bien with our CBS affiliate in Indiana is examining what's creating increased stress.
A recent Pew Research Center survey asked about the gender gap in teen experiences. It was aiming to find out if teen girls and boys in the U.S. were facing different pressures. It found that, yeah, there are differences in the way they're feeling the pressure, but that the pressure exists for both.
Nice to meet you.
Before the snow fell, we met Kenny Curlis on the tennis court.
I've been playing tennis for most of my whole life. My sister and I started when we were 3.
Curlis is a high-achieving high school senior who chose to give up varsity athletics this year in favor of academics.
A disappointment especially. I mean, I'd worked so hard in the off season, and I eventually had to make the choice that tennis was less important than my future.
Curlis is now focusing on excelling in his 5 AP classes and getting into college. But he says his decision to choose textbooks over tennis came with a lot of mental matches.
You're expected to be, like I said, the fastest, strongest, most resilient. If you admit you're struggling, it can almost feel like a personal failure.
Now he's sharing his struggle and helping other students like him along the way.
I really want to just make a place where people, their kids, can admit that they're having struggles, because everyone has these same struggles that they do.
This school year, Curlis started SAFE at Penn High School. It stands for Student Athletes for Each Other.
So SAFE is it's like a mental health group that student athletes at Penn can come in and talk about the issues they're having with the pressures they're facing. And
the pressures that teens like Curlis are facing aren't just being felt by athletes or high achievers.
With the middle schoolers and high school age students.
Rebecca Alva is a licensed social worker and therapist. She says many teens and adolescents are experiencing increasing stress as they try to figure out social relationships, balance academic expectations, and navigate uncertainty about the future.
Anxiety comes into play a lot, and depression.
Alva says we're asking a lot of our teens today. They're attending school and then also completing homework, participating in extracurricular activities, working a part-time job, and planning for the future. It's something most adults would have a difficult time juggling.
For children and adolescents and teenagers, they're really trying to do so many things all at the same time.
On top of that, Alva says during the adolescent and teen years, a lot of change is taking place.
Because anxiety is a fear of the unknown. So the unknown that these teenagers are facing is actually quite a bit of different things.
A Pew Research Center survey released this year found 3 in 10 teens said anxiety and depression is highly common among their peers. The survey found grades were the biggest source of pressure for teens today. After that, teens were feeling the effects of social pressures. Nearly half said they felt pressure to look good and fit in. That doesn't surprise Alva, who says teens are likely more stressed today than they were in years past.
I would say based on the numbers, it looks like yes. And I would think because we're asking more of them.
Alva recommends parents try to build a new relationship with their teen by showing interest in the things they're interested in. Give them individual time and share your own struggles.
I think an opportunity that exists there is to help build that bridge of understanding and be like, okay, we're different people now. Let's work with this.
And for teens,
there's so many unknowns, and it's helpful to have a space to talk about those unknowns.
That's what Curlis has found in his SAFE group.
Student athletes for each other.
Because sometimes the game is a mental one, playing out inside and not on the court. But you don't have to go it alone.
I really just wanted to give them a safe space to come in, talk about the issues they're having, and deal with it in a healthy manner.
We're dry out there this morning, but it's a chilly start to the day. Also some cloud cover out there, but we're staying dry as we start our Tuesday morning, and we're going to stay dry throughout the next several days. Temperatures right now 32 degrees in Winsboro, so at freezing, but other areas are a little warmer. 34 in Camden, 34 in Bishopville, 37 in Columbia, 38 in Lexington, 36 in Orangeburg. So definitely a chilly start for everyone, but looking ahead at the afternoon, we're going to stay cooler again today. Temperatures are only going to warm up into the mid to upper 40s this afternoon. We could see a little bit of sunshine moving through as we head into the late morning hours, so not too much longer to go. We could see some of that, and we are going to see that through the afternoon as well. Temperatures in the mornings are going to be chilly, though. 31 degrees tonight heading into tomorrow morning. A little warmer for Thursday at 39 for that low. Our normal low is 37, so we'll be pretty close to that on Thursday, but we get cooler again for the end of the week, and especially by Sunday. 29 for that low temperature as we end the weekend. High temperatures are going to be a little cooler than normal as well. Our normal high is 60, so we're going to be exactly at that tomorrow. Looking ahead at the end of the week, we're going to be in the mid to upper 50s, so not too far off. But gradual cooling is expected through the weekend, especially by Sunday with that high of 48 degrees. Plenty of sunshine, though. We will be a little bit warmer for Monday as we start next week, that high of 56. But it is going to be overall a cooler week this week. We are going to stay dry. Looking at wind gusts for the next couple of days, today is going to be pretty light, but tomorrow winds are going to change direction. They're going to move in from the southwest. That's going to bring some warmer southerly air into the area, and that's going to help bring those highs back near 60 degrees tomorrow. The wind gusts, though, could get between 15 and 20 miles per hour, so that is going to be a little on the breezy side, but it's not going to last all day. Looking a little calmer by later in the day on Wednesday. We could see not too impactful wind gusts, but you'll notice a little bit of a light breeze. Here's that forecast for today. Clouds will decrease through the morning. By lunchtime, we should see plenty of sunshine, and that's going to continue into the afternoon today. Looking at tonight, though, we could see a few passing clouds around dinner time, but still going to stay pretty clear as we head into the overnight hours. That's going to lead to a chilly start to the day tomorrow. We are going to see more sunshine tomorrow as well. So 46 for your high today, partly cloudy skies. We're going to stay dry today as well with some sun in the afternoon. More sun tomorrow, mostly sunny for your Wednesday, 60 for your high. Again, that wind from the south is going to bring some warmer air into our area. 55 and 59 for Thursday and Friday, so a little warmer, not too far off from normal. A cool down, though, is expected by the weekend. 54 for Saturday, not too bad. But Sunday looking cold, that low of 29 and that high of 48. Sunny skies, though, so that will help with the cold day. Monday will be slightly warmer. 27 for the low, but 56 for the high. We'll continue to stay dry all the way into the start of next week. Traffic very smoothly. It looks like we do have one stalled vehicle causing a slowdown, which we may have a live look at here in just a moment. There it is. I-20 West, mile marker 74.5. Definitely some slow traffic there, likely from that stalled vehicle or accident. We'll get more details on that, though, in a few minutes.
All right, thank you so much. We'll check back in just a minute. Well, overnight, we are learning the Gamecocks have reportedly locked in their search for a new offensive coordinator. ESPN reporting that USC finalizing a deal to hire TCU's offensive coordinator Kendall Briles. Besides TCU, Briles has had stops at Baylor, Houston, Florida State, and FAU. And if his last name sounds familiar to college football fans, he's the son of former Baylor head coach Art Briles. Now, if the deal is finalized, Briles will take over an offense that finished second worst in the SEC this season. Well, South Carolina Athletics bringing back free concessions for Gamecock fans during 3 holiday basketball games at the CLA. So fans can enjoy hot dogs, popcorn, fountain sodas, and bottled water for free. But only for these 3 games that you see right there on your screen. December 22nd during the men's game versus SC State, December 28th during the women's game versus Providence, and December 30th during the men's game versus Albany. Fans must use the Forever Garnet app to access their free concessions, and they can visit the stands multiple times per game. And the Richland County Recreation Commissioner named its Football Player of the Year. 15 players were nominated from Richland School District 1, District 2, Richland Lexington 5, and the Skeezer ranks. All nominees excel on the football field, in the classroom, and the community while showing good sportsmanship. And this year's winner, AC Flora defensive back Azel Banag, who recently signed with Oregon. He is the Mr. Richland County Football Player of the Year, and he receives a nice trophy, a very nice plaque, and a $2,000 scholarship. Congratulations to him.
Definitely, it's a blessing, just putting my trust in the Lord and just things like this happen. It's a blessing to achieve this award. One of my teammates, Markel Townsend, received it, so it's great to have this given to me. I create a lot of emphasis on education early in my career. That's why I was committed to Harvard, so it means a lot to receive this since I focus so much on academics.
Sir, that is what I am talking about, Mr. Football. Well, we have a traffic alert for you in I-26 in Calhoun County. Starting today, state transportation crews will begin the demolition of the old Highway 6 bridge over I-26. News 19's Megan Dowshes has what you need to know before you start driving.
As part of the I-26 widening project between exits 125 and 136, Highway 6 got a new bridge. Last week, traffic was shifted to the new bridge, and now it's time to take down the old one. Starting December 9th until the 10th, demolition will begin from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. You can follow signs for a temporary traffic route that will go around the bridge using exit 136's on and off ramps. Law enforcement will also be present to help direct traffic during this time. Only one business stands off of the bridge, and it's an Exxon, and one worker who asked to stay anonymous says that despite the construction, they've still been busy. And with demolition that could bring delays, she expects it to stay busy.
Parking lot full. People running in, going to the bathroom, getting gas, or they scratch their legs because they've been in traffic for so long.
SCDOT told us the next steps for the widening project will shift focus to completing the new US 21 and Sunny Plain Road bridges over I-26, both scheduled to open in traffic in summer of 2026. The contractor will also begin construction of the I-26 bridge over Murph Mill Creek near mile marker 137 in spring of 2026. Crews will continue widening the interstate and building new ramps at the US 21 and South Carolina 6 interchanges. SCDOT expects the entire project to be completed in 2027. Reporting from Calhoun County, Megan Dowshes, News 19 WLTX.
And the Department of Transportation asking drivers to slow down and pay attention in those work zones. Again, the closure will begin today till tomorrow between 7 in the morning until 7 in the evening. We'll turn our attention now to Richland County. The Planning Commission talked about multiple rezoning requests connected to a potential housing development near Blythewood, but residents are speaking out against the potential new housing. The new development will be on Wilson Boulevard near Blythebrook Road. Nearby residents say they're worried about more traffic.
If you're going to put more houses in a neighborhood, it's going to be more cars. There's going to be more waiting getting in and out of the neighborhood.
Well, even with the concerns from residents, the Planning Commission gave the green light on the request. The next public hearing will take place on December 16th. Richland 1 laying out a detailed plan after auditors found missing documentation, weak internal controls, and improper purchasing practices. News 19's Jamin Wade shows us what the district says they're doing to fix this and how a question from a high school student caught the room by surprise.
Richland 1 says it's moving forward with the Comprehensive Correction Action Plan after an independent accounting review identified gaps in documentation, internal control, and procurement practices.
We decided that we would take 90 days and visit various locations throughout the district, examine various documents of the district. We came up with a transition team, and these are folks with great expertise from all over the country that were part of this examination and assessment.
The issue raised in an audit occurred before Dr. Todd Walker was named district superintendent this summer. In the original report, auditors found invoices that were not properly filed, purchases made without required competitive bids, and capital project expenses that did not have complete supporting records. The district says a transition team will monitor progress as departments standardize record keeping, create uniform checklists for purchases, require multi-level approvals for expenses, and implement new software to track procurement, capital projects, and financial reporting in real time. The South Carolina Department of Education says the district could come off fiscal caution next year if it completes its plan and shows continued compliance. Walker says transparency is essential to rebuilding trust.
We believe it's important to be transparent to build trust, and so we want to make sure the community knows that we're not hiding.
Andrew Marriott, a sophomore at Columbia High School, asked Dr. Walker a question that took the crowd by surprise. He wanted to know what the district plans to do to keep its magnet programs growing.
The first part of my question that I asked was, what are his plans to further the magnet program to kind of keep the ball rolling?
And Dr. Walker had a response.
To answer your question, I think magnet programs are fabulous. And I think that it's in to our advantage and to our benefit to really think about how we scale and expand those. Obviously, some of our magnet programs are grant funded. And so we have to look at in realistic ways our capacity to be able to extend those. But
the district says its work will continue through 2026 as it strengthens systems and rebuilds public trust. The district must submit its final correction action plan to the state for approval. SCDE says Richland 1 could be released from fiscal caution within the next year if all requirements are met. Reporting in Columbia, Jamin Wade, News 19 WLTX.
Well, now to the State House. That's where a special tradition returned to honor the men and women who served our country. The 22nd annual Reefs Across America ceremony brought veterans, families, and state leaders together as wreaths were laid in remembrance of South Carolina's fallen heroes. All right, my friends, we have much more News 19 this morning on the other side of this quick break, including a conversation a lot of folks have. We're talking about holiday tipping, the do's and don'ts. That's next. Time now for your top consumer headlines. When it comes to holiday gratuities, deciding to tip and how much can be overwhelming. Jen Sullivan has tips on who to tip this holiday season.
It's the season of giving, but when it comes to tips, who should you give to and how much?
Tip who's really gone out of their way to make your life easier this year.
Ted Rossman works at personal finance company Bankrate. They recently conducted a survey about holiday tipping and found 56% of U.S. adults say they usually give bigger tips when they receive better service. But they also found fewer people plan to tip this holiday season.
A lot of people are cutting back, but some, especially high earners, are giving as much or more.
Bankrate came up with a list of the most common people to tip in the U.S., starting with housekeepers. Tips range anywhere from $20 to more than $50, depending on the service, their survey found. And it doesn't have to be cash. The U.S. Postal Service doesn't allow employees to accept cash. But if you want to show your mail carrier appreciation, they can accept a gift of less than $20 or something like baked goods. The more you interact with someone, Rossman says, the more you should tip, like a childcare provider or housekeeper.
Whatever you normally pay them for a weekly service, you might consider doubling that one at the end of the year.
When you're setting your holiday budget, Rossman says it's important to factor in tipping because it can add up fast. Make a list of who is most important and figure out how much you can afford to give. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
And continuing in your top consumer headlines, let's talk about prices at the pump. Our average sitting at about $2.70. Getting savings in at the pump right now in the Midlands. And if you want to do that, the cheapest gas can be found in Lexington County. They're hovering at about $2.60. Well, in the list of biggest issues Americans face, at the top for many is affordability. On the positive side, a glut of crude oil has sent gasoline falling to an average of $3 a gallon for the first time in 4 years. I mean, we just talked about what we're seeing here in South Carolina, but coffee is going the other way. And as CBS News' Mark Strassman reports, the reason is tariffs.
Get some ice in here. You got the ice drink, right?
As one of America's coffee capitals, Portland, Oregon has grounds for worry. Coffee prices have soared to historic highs.
We have bags of coffee that are $28.50. That's a lot of money for a bag of coffee.
We met Layla Gambari at Gilder Coffee Company, her specialty coffee cafe. She and her brothers practically grew up inside an espresso machine. Her father owned a coffee shop. Gambari became the 2014 U.S. Barista Champion. Now she's a small business owner grappling with another coffee expense, tariffs.
Any coffee that's already landed in the United States is still subject to the tariff.
So this is a tariff cup of coffee?
That's a tariff cup of coffee.
Coffee beans were already high thanks to supply and demand pressures for premium beans and climate issues, especially crop-killing frost. Back in April, the U.S. jolted coffee-producing countries by adding a reciprocal tariff of 10%. Gambari says that costs her roughly 50 cents a bag.
Have you made espresso before?
Nope. At the University of Oregon, Christopher Hendon's a chemistry professor with a nickname, Dr. Coffee. Hendon says these tariffs cost independent coffee operators.
To the end user, the coffee drinker, not feeling it.
You probably are not feeling it. You might not care today because the price didn't change all that much, but you might care if your local cafe disappears.
Or your coffee roaster. Charlie Wicker's company, Trailhead Coffee, roasts green beans into brown ones. Tariffs hit him hard.
I had to lay off the 2 full-time employees. So now it's down to just myself and 1 part-time employee.
Was it a real gut punch?
No, the fact that we're still standing is a function of having a little bit of savings to keep the lights on.
Here's good news for America's coffee community. A few weeks ago, the U.S. reversed itself, lifting those tariffs. But relief will take time. Coffee roasters and cafes typically order beans months in advance.
The new coffees that land in our warehouse in February would be untariffed.
But not until February.
Not until February.
For Charlie Wicker, delivering to cafes, lifting those tariffs could be the coffee break he needs. For Eye in America, I'm Mark Strassman in Portland, Oregon.
Well, we love to highlight people and organizations making a difference in our community. And happening today, Dominion Energy volunteers will be out spreading holiday cheer to Midland's families in need. It's part of the 43rd annual Good Neighbor Fund Christmas project. Employees and retirees will pack more than 450 food baskets and 500 toys, all funded through employee donations. The event kicks off at 8 o'clock in the morning in Casey, with volunteers working through the morning before delivering food and gifts to pre-selected families. And also today, South Carolina Highway Patrol troopers will take part in a special Shop with a Cop event supporting children whose families have been affected by highway tragedies this year. 150 children will be paired with a trooper to shop for Christmas gifts, each receiving a $150 gift card provided by private donors through the Troopers Association. The event runs from 6 to 8 in the evening at Walmart locations across the state, including Forest Drive right here in Columbia. All right, y'all, check this story out. The 88-year-old veteran who went viral after kindness influencer Samuel Weidenhofer posted a video of him explaining that he is still working full-time, sadly after losing his pension. Y'all, he was surprised with a check for $1.77 million just a few days ago on Friday. Ed Bombas, whom Weidenhofer met working at a suburban Detroit supermarket, told the influencer that he retired from General Motors in 1999, but when the company went bankrupt in 2012, it discontinued his pension. Bombas also revealed that his wife died about 7 years ago and that to pay for her medical care, he had to sell their house. Well, footage filmed by Darius Smith shows Weidenhofer surprising Bombas with the $1.77 million that he was able to raise for him through a GoFundMe fundraiser, y'all. And at last check, people are still donating to this. I think this morning it said it was at about $1.9 million. But I mean, this story is so beautiful. And some of you have probably already seen it. The story went viral when, 88, still working, lost his pension, and so many people, it broke their heart, and so they donated.
I hadn't seen that until now, so.
Girl. Also, too, I love the idea that there are kindness influencers, right? Like, we hear about all kinds of influencers out there, but the fact that there's a kindness influencer is absolutely incredible.
More of those.
Yes. Stop trying to sell me something and put a smile on my, you know what I'm saying? Put a smile. Let's talk about something good. Let's talk about something that, like, brings us joy. But I think that's a really cool story. And shout out to Mr. Bombas for working so hard all those years. He absolutely deserves it. All right, my friends, we have more of your top local stories after this quick break. Good morning. I'm Whitney Sullivan. Your time right now, 7:56, and turning to a story that's got a lot of people talking in Lee County. We're learning new information about a contraband drone delivery at the state prison in Bishopville. Correction officers say a drone dropped a bag full of contraband into the yard at the Lee Correctional Facility, but it is what was inside that bag that had everybody talking. Okay, if you look on your screen right there, you can see some of the contents: Old Bay seasoning, crab legs, a steak, 2 large bags of marijuana, a package of loose tobacco, and a carton of cigarettes. SLED is now investigating who sent the drone and whether any inmates were involved, but as of this morning, no arrests have been made.
This morning, temperatures in the 30s across the Midlands, 37 in Columbia, 32 in Winsboro. So definitely a chilly start to the day as you're stepping outside, but temperatures are not going to warm up very much today. We're going to be stuck in the 40s. Our high is around 46 degrees in Columbia. A little bit of sunshine on the way, though. We should be able to see some of that sunshine by the later morning, early afternoon hours, especially as those clouds decrease through the day today. Looking at that 7-day forecast, we will be warmer tomorrow, 60 degrees for your high on Wednesday. We will continue to stay dry throughout the rest of the week, even the weekend. We're going to see some cooler temperatures moving back in the Midlands for Sunday, that high of 48 degrees.